Chicago is one of Illinois' largest towns in the United States, with over millions of individuals living in Berwyn, Hinsdale, Chicago Canal Street, and many other locations. Many transportation links are essential to keeping goods and people moving between Chicago's major cities. Population growth in many communities over the past several decades has led to more vehicle traffic on the roads than before. Fortunately, there is a 12-mile-long rail line that stretches from downtown Chicago across west to La Virginie, passing many locations such as Berwyn, Hinsdale, Brookfield, and many locations, and finally turning right off the rail line to Aurora. This scenic railroad is also the busiest passenger rail in the United States, playing host to trains from 2 different passenger and over 5 major freight rail carriers. While much has changed since the beginning in the 1830s, the railroad continues to be put to the new tests, demons, and challenges. However, one thing hasn't changed is the railroad's importance to Chicago, a railroad that has come to be known as the racetrack. I'm Railfanning Rick, and welcome to Train Simulator Railfanning Racetrack. The story of the racetrack begins in 1836 with the chartering of the Chicago Railroad. Backed by the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, the Chicago built west from downtown Chicago and Aurora with the goal of connecting to the national network. The railroad was completed in 1848 but washed out in West Chicago later. Today, the railroad is breaking down over 6 terminals in downtown that were used for long-distance passenger trains. At the time, these clips were all filmed in October of 2012. Anyway, sit back, grab a snack or your favorite drink, and enjoy our program of all the trains on the racetrack in the year 2012. We begin our journey in Chicago, Illinois on the morning of October 22nd, 2012. This marks the beginning of the 12-mile-long trip down the racetrack to Aurora, Illinois. This is the old Union Station depot now owned by Amtrak. The depot was built in 1925 and it's been 95 years old in 2020. Amtrak is a passenger railroad company that was originally known as the National Railroad Passenger Corporation. Amtrak began operations on May 1st, 1971 on most of its routes, and it's been 50 years old in 2021. Here from Chicago, you can go on any long-distance routes. Today, this train depot is operating by Amtrak and Metra. Metra is another passenger railroad company that was originally known as the RTA that operates in the state of Illinois. Metra began operations in 1984. This poses an operational complexity as all 30 of Union Station platforms tracks are stop-end, meaning trains can only enter and exit the depot from one direction. Metro trains traveling through Chicago must pull into the depot and then continue their journey by reversing direction. This is one of several reasons that all Metro trains use cab control cars, which allow the trains to change direction without physically turning the entire train around or adding a second locomotive. On the first track is an Amtrak EMD SDP-40F. This locomotive was built between 1973 and 1974. On the far right track is an Amtrak EMD F40PHR. This locomotive was built between 1975 and 1992. It was used to serve up until with the last F40PHR locomotives in 2002. Some of them sold to other operators, and some of them were donated to museums, and some of them were converted to cab control cars. On the next track is a Metra EMD F40PH. This locomotive was built between 1977 and 1983. On the next track is a Metra EMD MP36PH-3S. This locomotive was built between 2002 and 2004. The other locomotive is a Burlington Northern EMD E9AM. This locomotive was built in 1956. It was used to serve up until 1992. And the other locomotive is an Amtrak GE Genesis Series P40DC. This locomotive was built in 1993. It was used to serve up to the early 2000s. Some of them were rebuilt and some of them were scrapped. Our first train of the day is Metra train number 2613, led by Metra EMD MP36PH-3S number 413 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Metra 413 was built in August of 2003 and it's been 20 years old in 2023. The next train is Metra train number 2614, led by Metra Gallery Band Level Cab Car number 8576 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metra 8576 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. Next, we see Metro Train number 2701, led by Metro EMD F40PH number 105 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Metro 105 was built in September of 1977, and it's been 45 years old in 2022. Next, we see Metro Train number 2702, led by Metro Gallery Bi-Level Cap Car number 8583, from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metro 8583 was built in 1950, and it's been 70 years old in 2020. We moved outside to the train yard. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2709, led by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 211 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Meanwhile, Amtrak Train number 371, the Pure Market, backs out of Union Station after its arrival from Grand Rapids, Michigan. This train is backed up by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 402. Amtrak 211 was built in September of 1976, and it's been 45 years old in 2021. While Amtrak 402 was built in December of 1987, and it's been 35 years old in 2022. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2710, led by Metra Gallery Bi-Level Cab Car number 8544 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Meanwhile, Amtrak Train number 372, the Pier Market, moves into Union Station and begins servicing. This train is moved by Amtrak EMD F40 PHR number 268. Metro 8544 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. While Amtrak 268 was built in December of 1977 and it's been 45 years old in 2022. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2713, led by Amtrak EMD SDP40F number 600 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Meanwhile, Metro Train number 2688 moves out of Union Station after its arrival from Aurora, Illinois. This train is moved by Amtrak EMD SDP40F number 610. Amtrak 600 and Amtrak 610 were built in 1974 and they have been 45 years old in 2019. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2714, led by Metra Gallery Bat Level Cab Car number 8518 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Meanwhile, Metro Train number 2689 moves into Union Station and begins servicing. This train is moved by Amtrak EMD SDP40F number 603. Metra 8518 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. While Amtrak 603 was built in 1974 and it's been 45 years old in 2019. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2691, led by BN EMD E9AM number 9912 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. BN 9912 was built in January of 1956 and it's been 65 years old in 2021. On August 26, 1991, BN 9912 was involved in an accident of hitting a woman named Mary T. Wachtila. Today, BN 9912 can be seen at the Tennessee Central Railway Museum in Nashville, Tennessee. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2692, led by Metra Gallery bi-level cab car number 8536 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metra 8536 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The next train we see is the famous Southern Pacific Shasta Daylight, led by Southern Pacific EMD E9A number 6051 from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California. Southern Pacific 6051 was built in December of 1954 and it's been 65 years old in 2019. In 1985, it was painted into the daylight scheme. Today, Southern Pacific 6051 can be seen at the California State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California. The next train we see is the Deschutes Special Train, led by Southern Pacific GS444 number 4449 from Chicago, Illinois to Quincy, Illinois. Southern Pacific 4449 was built on May 20th, 1941, and it's been 80 years old in 2021. On October 2nd, 1957, it was officially retired from service. On November 24th, 1958, it was donated to the city of Portland, Oregon, where it was on display at Oaks Park. On December 13th, 1974, it was moved out of Oaks Park to the now demolished Brooklyn Roundhouse for restoration. On November 21st, 1975, it was officially restored to pull the American Freedom Train. Today, Southern Pacific 4449 can be seen at the Oregon Rail Heritage Center in Portland, Oregon. We'll see this train again later the next day. On the other side is Amtrak's 18th Street Yard. This yard is used for storing equipment. Here we see a pair of EMD F40PH locomotives in Phase 2, 4 pair of EMD SDP40F locomotives in Phase 1, 3 more EMD F40PH locomotives, one in Phase 2, the other one in Phase 3, and the other one is in Phase 4. 2 pair of EMD SDP40F in Phase 3, and a pair of EMD SDP40F in Phase 2. On the far right track is an EMD E8. That locomotive was built in 1949. This is the Norfolk Southern Chicago line, a former Pennsylvania River line. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 29, the Capitol Limited, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 805 from Chicago, Illinois to Washington, D.C. Amtrak 805 was built in April of 1993, and it's been 30 years old in 2023. Right before the river crossing is the Canal Street Bridge. The bridge was built in 1913 and it's been 100 years old in 2013. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 58, the City of New Orleans, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 806 from New Orleans, Louisiana to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 806 was built in April of 1993 and it's been 30 years old in 2023. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 318, the Lincoln service, led by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 400 from Chicago, Illinois to St. Louis, Missouri. Amtrak 400 was built in August of 1985 and it's been 35 years old in 2020. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 51, the Cardinal, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 386 from New York, New York to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 386 was built in August of 1981 and it's been 40 years old in 2021. We are now at the Halsted Street Station. The station was built in 1892 and it's been 100 years old in 1992. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 380, the Illinois Zephyr, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 813 from Quincy, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 813 was built in June of 1993 and it's been 30 years old in 2023. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 65, the Coast Starlight, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 803 from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California. Amtrak 803 was built in April of 1993 and it's been 30 years old in 2023. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 392, the Desert Wing, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 320, from Los Angeles, California to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 320 was built in August of 1979, and it's been 40 years old in 2019. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 7, the Empire Builder, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 401, from Chicago, Illinois to Seattle, Washington. Amtrak 401 was built in December of 1987, and it's been 35 years old in 2022. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 8, the Empire Builder, led by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 228, from Seattle, Washington to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 228 was built in May of 1976, and it's been 45 years old in 2021. The next area along the way is the Western Avenue Station. The station was built in 1905, then it was rebuilt in 1978, and it's been 100 years old in 2005. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 56, the Southwest Chief, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 231 from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California. Amtrak 231 was built in September of 1977, and it's been 45 years old in 2022. In 1996, it became the Operation Lifesaver Unit. In the mid-2000s, Amtrak 231 was sitting at the Berwyn Roundhouse in Portland, Oregon. Today, Amtrak 231 is owned by Dynamic Rail Preservation and can be seen at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Boulder City, Nevada. And it's also the oldest EMD F40PHR locomotive in preservation. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2671, led by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 210 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Amtrak 210 was built in March of 1976, and it's been 45 years old in 2021. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 5, the California Zephyr, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 281 from Chicago, Illinois to San Francisco, California. Amtrak 281 was built in April of 1978, and it's been 45 years old in 2023. Today, Amtrak 281 can also be seen at the California State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California, and is also the second EMD F40PHR locomotive in preservation. The next train we see is a BNSF coal train C-N AMTK 181, led by BNSF EMD SD40-2, number 1928, from Chicago, Illinois to Phoenix, Arizona. BNSF 1928 was built in January of 1979, and it's been 40 years old in 2019. The next train we see is a BNSF manifest train H-SPONTW5281, led by BNSF GE-9-44CW number 5528 from Chicago, Illinois to Barstow, California. BNSF 5528 was built in August of 2004 and it's been 15 years old in 2019. The next area along the way is the Cicero Station. The station was opened in 1978, then it was rebuilt in 2010 and in 2014, and it's been 45 years old in 2023. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 54, the Southwest Chief, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 804 from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California. Amtrak 804 was built in April of 1993 and it's been 30 years old in 2023. The next train we see is two pair of BNSF XBN EMD GP38 AC locomotives moving out of the yard, then couple up the cars and then servicing as the Cicero Loco train. Led by BNSF EMD GP38 AC number 2125 from Cicero, Illinois to Western Avenue, Illinois. BNSF 2125 was built in March of 1971 and has been 50 years old in 2021. After the switch has been thrown, the locomotive backs up and couple up the cars. At 1 p.m., BNSF 2125 departs the train yard. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 23, the Empire Builder Portland section, led by Amtrak GE P40DC number 808 from Chicago, Illinois to Portland, Oregon. Amtrak 808 was built in May of 1993 and it's been 30 years old in 2023. In 2007, Amtrak 808 was sold to the New Jersey Transit District. and renumbered 4801. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 121, the California Zephyr, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 398 from San Francisco, California to Chicago, Illinois. Amtrak 398 was built in August of 1985 and it's been 35 years old in 2020. The next train we see is Amtrak train number 52, the Southwest Chief, led by Amtrak EMD F40PHR number 267 from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California. Amtrak 267 was built in December of 1977 and it's been 45 years old in 2022. We are now at Lavergne in Berwyn, Illinois, just outside of the Cyrero yard. Crossing over the bridge is the Canadian National Freeport Subdivision Line, a former Illinois Central line. The next train we see is a Canadian National Loaded Woodchip train, L521, led by Canadian National GE D9-44CW number 2561 from New Orleans, Louisiana to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Canadian National 2561 was built in July of 1997 and it's been 25 years old in 2022. Next, we see an Illinois Central grain train G812, led by Illinois Central EMD GP38-2, number 9612, from La Crosse, Wisconsin to New Orleans, Louisiana. Illinois Central 9612 was built in December of 1974, and it's been 45 years old in 2019. Next, we see a BNSF intermodal train Z-CHC-SSE891, led by BNSF GE-9-44CW number 1080 from Cicero, Illinois to Seattle, Washington. Meanwhile, Metro train number 2721 passed by the BNSF intermodal train. This train is led by Amtrak EMD SDP40F number 607 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. BNSF 1080 was built in November of 1996, and it's been 25 years old in 2021, while Amtrak 607 was built in 1974, and it's been 45 years old in 2019. From this side, we see the Laverne Station. The station was built in 1916 and it's been 100 years old in 2016. The next train we see is Metro train number 2722, led by Matra Gallery Bi-Level Cab Car number 8526 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Matra 8526 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2719, led by Amtrak MD SDP 40F number 608 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Amtrak 608 was built in 1974 and it's been 45 years old in 2019. The next train we see is a BNSF Autorack train, M-BARSDG-111, led by BNSF EMD ST75M number 8231 from Los Angeles, California to Cicero, Illinois. Meanwhile, we see Metro Train number 2720, led by Metra Gallery Bi-Level Cab Car number 8528 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. BNSF 8231 was built in July of 1995 and it's been 25 years old in 2020, while Metra 8528 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The next train we see is a Canadian National grain train G801, led by Canadian National EMD SD70 AM-2 number 8891, from La Crosse, Wisconsin to New Orleans, Louisiana. Canadian National 8891 was built in February of 2010, and it's been 10 years old in 2020. The next train we see is an Illinois Central gondola train, L501, led by Illinois Central EMD GP9 number 9031, from New Orleans, Louisiana to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Illinois Central 9031 was built in December of 1957, and it's been 65 years old in 2022. We are now at the Metro Depot in Berwyn, Illinois. The depot was built in 1890 and it's been 100 years old in 1990. The next train we see is Metro Train number 2615, led by Metro EMD MP36PH-3S number 426, from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Metro 426 was built in February of 2004, and it's been 15 years old in 2019. You can see a defect detector on the left side track.
Detector milepost 1000.3. Track
The next train we see is Metro train number 2616, led by Metro Gallery bi-level cab car number 8578 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metro 8578 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The next train we see is Metro train number 2622, led by Metro Gallery bi-level cab car number 8531 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metro 8531 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The next train we see is Metro train number 2672, running on the middle track, led by Metro Gallery bi-level cab car number 8532 from Aurora, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Metro 8532 was built in 1950 and it's been 70 years old in 2020. The last train of the day is Metro Train number 2621, coming to a stop to pick up more passengers, led by Amtrak EMD F40PH number 208 from Chicago, Illinois to Aurora, Illinois. Amtrak 208 was built in March of 1976, and it's been 45 years old in 2021. In April of 1999, it became the Non-Power Control Unit and renumbered 9208. In October of 2015, it was repainted into the Honor and Hour Veterans Unit. On August 15th, 2019, Amtrak 280 was involved in an accident of hitting a forklift in Laguna Niguel, California. After the incident, it was retired and scrapped at Beech Grove, Indiana. After picking up passengers at Berwyn, Illinois, Amtrak 280 will continue its journey to Aurora, Illinois. The next stop will be at La Grande, Illinois.